Years ago, there was this commercial. I forget what they were advertising because I'd love to be able to find it and show it to you, but it was a guy whose timing was just off. They showed this guy sitting at a dinner table with his date, and she looks in his eyes and she says, "I love you." And he just looks at her. And then she feels like offended, and then she gets up and she leaves, and then he looks at this empty chair and he says, "I love you too." Then he's playing tennis and the ball whizzes by him, and the next thing you know, he's trying to swing at it. Like his timing was just completely off. I bring that up because lately I have felt like that guy. My timing has been completely off with Ozark. I just finished watching season 3. I just got into it, binged it in the last couple weeks, and I've completely missed the Ozark party, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing. A bad thing because I've not been able to have Ozark conversations for the last few years, but a good thing because had I seen season 1, I would have been waiting that extra year for season 2. And then after season 2 dropped, I would have been waiting that year and a half for season 3. Because now I feel like I need a 1-800 number because I'm suffering from the withdrawals that there is no Ozark for the foreseeable future. I'm sure it will come back. They have to do a season 4, but we're not going to see a season 4 until 2021, maybe 2022. Damn you, Netflix. Now, if you are part of the small percentage of people like myself who hadn't seen Ozark up until recently, or haven't seen Ozark at all, like I've seen it recently is what I mean, then let me give you a little spoiler-free review of this phenomenal show. Jason Bateman plays Marty Bird. He's a financial planner of sorts, and he has been working with this drug cartel. Now, he finds out that his partners have been skimming, and as a way to appease them, he decides that he is going to relocate his family to the Ozarks and launder money for them. His wife is played by Laura Linney. She plays Wendy Bird, and they've got their 2 kids. Now, once they hit the Ozarks and he starts setting out to launder money, he starts coming across all these other interesting characters, like this family called the Snells, Jacob and Darlene, who seem like normal farmers, except what they're farming is heroin. And then he also comes across the Langmores, which is kind of like the seedy, kind of trailer park family that he has to deal with as well. Now, there's so many things that I really enjoy about this show. First of all, like many shows that I enjoy, let's start with the writing. We've got 3 10-episode series, which are just written extremely well. The character development in the show is second to none, and I really enjoyed it. I've heard the show being compared to Breaking Bad, which of course everybody knows or should know is my favorite show of all time. Let's slow down that talk. It's only been 3 seasons. Talk to me in a few more and we'll see where the show goes, but it's very entertaining. So the writing and the character development is extremely strong. I love the way the show is shot. The cinematography is fantastic. They do a great job with the scenery in this film. From what I understand, it's shot in Georgia, although it's set in Missouri. Regardless, the cinematography in this is beautiful. The colors that they use in this are very crisp, and they do a great job in terms of shooting the show. On top of that, they do a really good job also of building and developing suspense. Now, we're in this world where you're able to consume like the entire season in a day or over the course of a weekend, and I don't think it's a coincidence that these shows from Netflix are always released on a Friday. It's like saying, "Hey, the show's coming. Clear your weekend plans." So the suspense in this film, in this show, is done very well, and everybody knows like Jason Bateman is really good at acting and he's really good at directing, and he wears many hats in this show: actor, director, executive producer. Like multiple checks are coming in for this guy on this, but his acting is really well done, and of course he's the face that's attached to this. But there are so many strong portrayals in this film. Laura Linney, who again is no slouch when it comes to acting, she's been nominated for everything. She has done such a great job with her character in this show. She plays Wendy Bird, and of course, when we first meet her in the pilot, they're in a very unhappy marriage, and now the next thing you know, they have to bond together for their survival. One of the things I love about how her character is written is she is extremely street smart. She knows what to say when she has to say it, and that is an intangible that you cannot teach to a person, and her character does it so well. The breakout scene stealer of this series, without a shadow of a doubt, is Julia Garner, who plays Ruth Langmore. Last year, I binge watched Game of Thrones in like 3 weeks or so. And at the end of it, I was just, and I talked about how impressed I was with Maisie Williams and her portrayal as Arya Stark. When we went to the Emmy Awards, I said there is absolutely no way that she could lose this. She was just too good. And then she lost it to this actress I wasn't familiar with named Julia Garner. And I said, okay, Maisie Williams was robbed. After watching Ozark, specifically the second season where Julia Garner won the Emmy for, no. With all due respect to Maisie Williams, she wasn't robbed. This was a phenomenal performance. This was acting at such a high level. The arc of that character, Ruth Langmore, is just phenomenal. This character is somebody who basically has just had this amazing turn in the show. And I want to talk about things that she's done, but I'm not going to do it. All I will say is that she has taken this character and just made it her own and become such a bright spot on the show. I think what's really entertaining about Ozark is the fact that they have done such a masterclass job in terms of taking all of these elements together and making such a fine show that people are going to want to tune into. I always relate things to sports and I think to myself, they have crafted essentially this phenomenal fantasy sports team in terms of, if you could think of like what your dream fantasy sports team would be, they've kind of brought those things together and put out this wonderful show. The supporting actors in the show have so much strong material, and a lot of times they do a great job of standing out on their own. There was an episode in the third season that focused on somebody with more of a guest starring role, and their performance in that episode just blew me away. I find the show has gotten better season over season because if you think of like season one as the foundation where they basically laid the groundwork, they've been able to develop from there. So if you haven't seen Ozark, and I understand that there might not be a lot of you because again, late to the party, I get it. I strongly recommend this show. I grade this show an A- in the first 3 seasons. I've really enjoyed it. Again, I am so bummed at the fact that there is no new Ozark in the foreseeable future. I'm probably gonna, from time to time, just go back and rewatch some of my favorite episodes. If you've seen Ozark, drop me a line and let me know what you think. And if you have a chance to check it out, I'd also be interested to know if this is going to be a show that you should watch. And also, I'm looking for some recommendations. Now that Ozark's done, I'm looking for something new. What do you have for me? I haven't seen Sons of Anarchy. I've heard good things about that. Is that worth my time? Is there another show you can recommend? Let me know. CFL_fan on Twitter, Facebook.com/WheatyWhittier and WheatyWhittier.com. Thanks so much for checking this out. My name is Keith, and I'll talk to you soon.